Hi, everyone. My name is Sasha Thompson. I'm a co-op and internship advisor, employment advisor with the Career Center at Ontario Tech University. Today, I'm going to speak to you somewhat briefly about resumes, and I will take you through a resume breakdown. It will be an overview. However, if you would like more work or more one-on-one support with resume writing, please book an appointment with myself or the other employment advisors through the Student Life portal. But for now, we'll get started. So, resume breakdown. This is a suggested template and way to present your information on a resume. So the first section, or the first thing an employer or recruiter should see, is clearly your name in a header, along with a number where you can be reached, as well as your email. Your LinkedIn URL can also be added to your resume. No picture is needed because in LinkedIn you can have a picture. And you just want to make it very clear that and easy for the employer to reach you. So of course you want to use a phone number that you will be where you have a professional voicemail and where you can be reached easily, as well as an email that you check often, because when you start applying for positions, you're going to have to check it probably at least a couple times a day. Okay. Now, the next section is objective. And so this is a suggested way, a strategic way of presenting information on a resume. So your objective is very simple, and it's to state the position you're applying for with the company. You're showing the employer that you are specifically applying to their position advertised with their company, and that you haven't created one resume and applied to with that resume to several different positions, that you have taken the time to tailor this resume to their job position. So this individual states to apply to the position of junior software engineer with Logistics Inc. Very clear. The other reason why we suggest you include the position title, and if there is a job number associated with that position title, please insert that here too, as well as the company name, is sometimes these resumes, if it's a high volume or if there's several thousands of individuals that applied for this job, the resumes may be screened through an application tracking system, which scans for keywords, some of those being the position title and the employer title. And this is also why it's very important for you, students, to tailor the resume to every job they apply for, which I'll talk about in the next section. So the next section that's suggested is highlights of skills and qualifications. In this section, you are going to focus on the skills and qualifications that you have that are related to the job posting. So all job postings have a section that lists skills and qualifications. And you're going to take a look at that section, and you're going to speak to or underline and highlight all of the skills and qualifications that you have and can speak to, and include it in this section. So you're not just listing the skill, you're listing the skill, you're using the STAR method and listing the skill, the task and action where you've applied or developed that skill, and the result, to show evidence that you have that skill. And the purpose of this section, the reason it's very much at the beginning, is to catch the employer or recruiter's attention, to show them that you have the skills and qualifications, all of or most of, that they're looking for. And this will spark them to read on. Often, employers will look at your resume, or recruiters, a human, will look at your resume for 7 to 15 seconds. So this section grabs their attention right away, because they know what qualifications they're looking for and skills. And if you have them listed right away, it's going to prompt them, hopefully, to read on. So this particular individual has stated the technical skills first that are related to the job, which is recommended, and then the soft skills, or soft skills, transferable skills, second. And oftentimes employers will include soft skills or transferable skills that they want an individual to have. So I'm just going to go over a couple of points. So an example is advanced knowledge of JavaScript, C++, Visual Basic, and HTML used to design multiple database engines. So they're stating the skill, their knowledge, and they're noting how and where they've utilized or developed that skill or knowledge. Another point, and this is a transferable skill or soft skill, would be excellent interpersonal and collaboration skills developed through tutoring programming skills to high school students, resulting in a 15% increase in class averages. So again, stating the skill, but then how they had developed that skill or used that skill and the result. So that's very important to use and state the skill and how you develop the skill and the result throughout your resume. The next section is education, because of course education is very important. So you're not listing your high school education on your resume. You're going to be listing the current degree that you are completing. So most recent to least recent. So in this case, Bachelor of Science Honors Comprehensive Computer Science. You're listing the full degree name, no short forms, in bold. And then on the right, you're going to list the year you're expected to graduate. Underneath, you're stating the institution, so Ontario Tech University, Oshawa, Ontario. And other things you can add under this section are memberships of different councils, for sure relevant courses that demonstrate knowledge and skills developed related to the job. So this particular individual has highlighted computer graphics and visualization, programming languages, computer networks, software quality assurance, and operating systems, because these are courses related to the position they've applied to. You will also, or can also, include, it's not a requirement, your cumulative GPA. If you have a strong GPA, you may want to state it. Here, they've stated their GPA of 3.35 out of 4.3, which is a B+. And again, this is not a requirement. The next section that we suggest that is most relevant would be project experience. And this would be likely applicable after your first year of university, unless you have some high school projects that are applicable, where you can list and show projects that you have completed, where you have demonstrated and applied the skills and knowledge learned. It is relatable experience, ideally related to the job. So in this case, so it depends on the program you're in, it's project experience. If you're in engineering and have done different projects, it might be lab experience then if you're in a science-related program. So it depends on what program you are completing. You're going to state, ideally in this case, this was a thesis. So they've stated the title of the thesis and indicated thesis, because that would be the thesis course. You're going to state the start and end date and where you completed that thesis. In this case, they completed this thesis with the employer Lake Ridge Health, Oshawa, Ontario. A lot of your projects will be at Ontario Tech through courses you've completed. And so you'll state the course title, and then the project title, and then the start and end date, and then Ontario Tech University, Oshawa, Ontario. Then you're going to explain the purpose of the project to really highlight the complexity and what you were set to accomplish, as well as the number of other individuals that you worked with. So in this case, collaborated with 3 classmates to design analytics to determine priority status using SAS and JavaScript. Then you can state how you accomplished this, the steps in how you and your group accomplished the project. And so it's gone on to state debugged and troubleshooted multiple applications and issues within the servers and databases to ensure optimization. And then you're going to the last, produced a technical report. You want to include this point because that's technical report writing, which is a skill. And you want to make sure that you incorporate that, as well as talking about their presentation skills. So presented research findings to 5 hospital officials and the Health and Science Conference, at the Health and Science Conference. And most of the time you're presenting these results in your project to peers in a classroom of 50 to 100, depending on what year. And that's really important because that's a skill that you will utilize on the job. The next section, of course, is work experience, and you're going to include work experience even if it's not related to the job you're applying for. Even if it's in food service or fast food, you want to include this experience because you will be able to highlight a lot of those soft skills that might be listed in the job posting, and you can highlight those skills first: the communication skills, the ability to report writing, or written communication skills if you were in an administrative position and responded to emails. It might also be time management and organizational skills, things like that. And then, of course, other duties that might not be related to the job, but you're still showing and indicating that you have held a position, which is important to an employer. And it doesn't have to be work experience. The next section you'll see is also volunteer experience, so it doesn't have to be paid. So again, you're going to state the title, your title. In this case, it was research assistant, the institution or where the employer you worked for. In this case, it's Ontario Tech University, Oshawa, Ontario. Your start and end date to the right. And then you're going to go through and really explain the skills that you utilized, developed, and applied in this position. Tailoring it again as much as possible to the job you're applying for. Okay, and you're going to go from most recent work experience to least recent. Okay, the next section, as I mentioned, is volunteer experience. And this is just as important as work experience because there's lots of skills, valuable skills that are developed through volunteer experience. And so again, you want to state a job or position title. In this case, it's food preparation and service helper, a start and end date, and the place in which you volunteered. So St. Vincent's Kitchen, Oshawa, Ontario. And then you're going to outline the duties, the skills utilized. So in this case, collaborated with a team of 5 volunteers to prepare meals for homeless patrons and service them in an efficient manner. So that's a great skill. You can talk about any initiatives that you took on or how you went above and beyond. So you're going to include these skills, and they are valuable. Again, if possible, tailoring it to the job, but if it's not possible, it's still valuable experience. Okay. So as I mentioned, and the last thing I'm going to highlight here for you before the end of this is the STAR technique. And this is just a review. So throughout this session, I spoke about not just listing the skill, but listing the skill, describing the skill and competency you achieved, then the task, outlining the task you used, where you used the skill, or the action in which you performed the skill, and then the result. What was the impact or outcome? Can it be quantified? Is there a number you can put to it? Not all the time can we include a result, but what's very important is to provide the evidence that you have that skill through stating the task and action where you utilize that skill. Okay, if you need further or are wanting further assistance with resume writing, please make an appointment through the Student Life portal. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video today.